The final pitch for Rain and Mink's vacation house project had reached the final round. The venue was buzzing with excitement, filled with people from the competing teams, company staff, fellow business owners, and well-known socialites. Among the crowd was someone who drew a lot of attention, Fallet, an executive and owner of a renowned luxury hotel chain with branches throughout Thailand and across Asia. He was chatting lively with Mink. "There are so many people here," Rin said nervously as she scanned the room. Mr. Rain and Mrs. Mink probably invited their friends, too. That was why everyone wanted to win this pitch, or at the very least, make it far enough to present their work. Just having the chance to show it to potential clients could change a company's entire future. Akbab felt the pressure, but she did her best to stay calm for the sake of her team. "Let's go get ready. This is our moment." About half an hour before presentations began, teams and staff from each company were busy checking equipment and finalizing their preparations. Some made time to eat or take care of personal needs. Akbab and Terdes had just stepped out of the restroom when they ran into Mind and Thee. Terdes kept her head down, not daring to meet their eyes, while Mind tried to show courtesy as a fellow competitor. "I hope for today's pitch. I hope you'll accept the results fairly." Akbab cut in and walked off coldly, forcing Terdes to rush after her without looking back. "I don't know what trick these team will pull today," Pat muttered with his arms crossed, sitting in the private waiting room of Jinta Architect as Akbab and Terdes returned. "Screw him! Don't be scared. We just have to beat them," Chan said boldly, though deep down he was just as anxious as the rest of the team. All they could do was sit there, go over their work one more time. Check this and that, and wait. Wait until it was their turn to present. Right now, only Terdes knew that it was Mind Space's turn, having been updated by V. "Hello, I'm Mind from Mind Space. Today I'll be presenting one of our proudest home renovation projects. Our concept is love-life balance. A life where love and daily living blend in harmony. I believe a lasting relationship is one where both partners respect each other's personal space. That's why we designed this house to suit Mr. Rain and Mrs. Mink's lifestyle in particular. We focused on comfort, modernity, and their personal tastes. From what we've gathered, both Mr. Rain and Mrs. Mink have strong, cherished memories of Japan." Terdes stared at the photo on stage that V had sent her and turned pale in shock. "Miss Akbab, look at this." She rushed over, no longer caring if she was revealing her secret in front of the whole team. Everyone stared, wondering what was going on. Akbab looked at the screen and gasped. The 3D render being presented was nearly identical to Rin's design, except for a few small differences in detail. "That's our design." Rin peeked in beside Akbab and became more shocked than anyone. The rest of the room got up and crowded around. Everyone turned to each other with a mix of reaction: stunned, anxious, tense, and confused about how things could have ended up like this. How did Mind Space get their work? "This isn't a coincidence. This is obvious plagiarism," Chan was the first to yell. Panic began to spread. Their team was moments away from taking the stage, and now this. Yang instinctively turned to look at Terdes, the doubt and suspicion he'd long harbored about her, and V rising to the surface. "They stole our work. How could they?" Rin shouted, lunging toward the door like she would storm the stage, but Pat grabbed her arm in time. "Calm down, Rin. If you go now, we might not be able to fix anything." He stopped her, trying to think, but he didn't realize the one who had already slipped out of the room wasn't Rin, still fuming and restless. It was Akbab. She strode down the hallway toward the presentation room. When she saw Mind stepping out, she marched straight to her. "You did it again." Mind was greatly stunned by Akbab's fury. She nodded at her team to go ahead, then turned back to speak. "What are you talking about? Don't play dumb. You stole my work again." "Stole what?" Mind was still confused until Akbab added, "The concept, the details, everything's the same. And now you're pretending you don't know anything. You're just the same as you always were. You haven't changed at all." Suddenly, Mind remembered the day they pressured her to switch teams and showed her a mysteriously completed design, appearing out of nowhere like magic. Maybe her unease had been right all along. "I won't let you destroy my company. I'm going to fight this to the very end." Akbab forced the words out, frustrated. Then she turned and rushed back to the prep room, leaving Mind standing there, dazed and unsure what had just happened. How had it come to this? And how did Akbab know the two projects were alike? "You gave our work to your girlfriend, didn't you?" Yang snapped at Terdes. "What? Are you crazy? I didn't." "Then how'd they get it? Who else could it be?" "I don't know." "Then how did you get that photo from the stage? Who sent it to you?" "That's enough. Terdes, step outside," Chan cut in. He pulled Yang aside and held him back. Terdes quickly nodded and slipped out. "Listen, Yang, right now the most important thing is to handle this pitch." "But Terdes, fix the problem in front of us first. Got it?" Yang pressed his lips together, tried to steady himself, then slowly nodded. "Grandma." Rin found Akbab standing at the sink in the restroom, hands on the counter, eyes red. She had probably come in to pull herself together, but the moment she was alone, even for just a few minutes, her tears and emotions burst out like a dam breaking. "This feels just like the day I found out my design had been stolen and entered into a contest." "It's okay. Back then you were alone, but not anymore." Rin stepped closer and gently placed a hand on her shoulder, slowly receiving her into a hug. "Thanks," Akbab murmured. She allowed herself just one sob before pulling away. Then she wiped her tears, steadied herself. "We have to fix the project." "Fix it?" "Yeah." "But how? We don't have time, and we have no proof to show that Mind Space stole our design." "I have another house model I designed. If we move fast, we might be able to adjust it in time for the afternoon pitch." "You designed one?" Rin asked, surprised. "Yeah, I'll explain later. Go tell the others to get ready. We're going to need everyone's help if we want to race against TH letter 1EB9 clock." With that, Akbab jogged to the elevator to grab her laptop and another external hard drive from the car. It took her less than 15 minutes to get back in the room, where Rin had already gathered the entire team. "We're switching to my house model." "Will it be ready in time?" Pat asked seriously. "I already worked on most of it. It's just not finished. If we all help out, it'll be ready." Akbab nodded, giving the team her confidence. "Yang help with the 3D presentation. P-Chan work on the interior. Terdes revise the pitching slides. Rin help me look over the concept. P-Pat, could you talk to Mr. Rain and Mrs. Mink? Buy us some time. Tell them we had a tech issue if you have to. We just need a bit more." "Time?" Everyone nodded without a single complaint. They rushed to their tasks, fully focused. Luckily, it was the lunch break, and Rain agreed to let the Jinta team present half an hour late, giving them just enough time to fix the work and breathe. Mind happened to catch Pat speaking to Rain and guessed something must have gone wrong for Jinta. She went looking for thee to talk to him, but before she could say anything, one of Rain's friends walked over to compliment their presentation. "Thank you. We put our heart into that project. If you need any help with design, let us know. Mind Space is happy to take care of it." They beamed like he was the one who designed it. Mind looked at him, finding it hard to believe. Akbab stepped onto the stage, despite how nervous she felt. But when she saw her teammates below, especially Rin, who smiled up at her with warmth in her eyes, she drew in a deep breath and managed to steady herself, regaining both focus and confidence. She clicked the remote. The title on the first slide appeared on the screen, Love at First Sight. We've all had love at first sight, haven't we? That pure, unforgettable kind of love. And it's not just romantic love, it can also be the unconditional love we receive from family. The slide changed to a house design. It looked similar to Mink's original home, but refreshed. A few large trees and a small vegetable garden were added outside, giving it a lush feeling. The concept Love at First Sight was inspired by the memories between Mrs. Mink and her grandmother. That's why we tried to preserve as much of the original structure as possible. For the exterior, We added green space and a natural atmosphere, knowing her grandmother loved growing her own fruits and vegetables. The presentation shifted to the interior design. For the inside, we focused on a warm, comforting mood. We used wood furniture and built-ins with a Thai touch and added indoor plants to bring greenery into different corners of the house. We wanted this to feel like a space where you can feel close to her grandmother again every time you step inside. We wanted this house to be a place of comfort, a space that brings back the memory of someone we love and who loves us. That's the heart of this home. Akbab glanced around the room, feeling relief as the audience responded positively. Many looked genuinely moved by the idea, even if the revised project didn't fully match Rain and Mink's original brief of a vacation home centered around the two of them. But they'd pulled through, and even better, the response exceeded their expectations. "Who is that girl? She nailed it," Chan shouted practically, bouncing with excitement when they got back to the prep room. "You were amazing. We got through that because of you," Pat added. "No, it's because we worked together. Thank you, everyone." Akbab bowed as her teammates clapped in support. Rin clapped loudest, giving her 2 thumbs up with the brightest grin. "You're the best, beautiful." But their relief didn't last long. After Rain and Mink had stepped away for a private discussion on which firm they would choose to design their vacation home, it was time to announce the results. The air in the room was thick with tension. It wasn't just the competing teams who were nervous, even friends from various industries who had come to watch the presentations felt the tension. "First, we want to thank everyone for your hard work and effort in helping make our dream come true. The ideas were all wonderful. It's been hard to choose, but the company we've decided to go with for this renovation project is Mind Space," Mink said, finishing her husband's sentence with a smile. They clapped loudly in triumph, barely hiding his smug grin at having beaten Pat and Chan. But Mind didn't look the slightest bit happy about the result. "As P. Rain said, this was a hard choice. I actually love both houses. They each had something I really liked. Jinta's design brought back memories of my grandmother. Thank you so much for that. As for Mind Space's house, it gave me something new, even though it's the same house. The design makes me want to start a new life there with P. Rain. I think it's the one that best fits the both of us." The decision hit the Jinta architect team hard. If it hadn't been for the dirty play, the win would have undoubtedly gone to them. "Damn it! Everything we worked for was ruined by that jerk Thee. Does anyone know a hitman? I'll pay to have him taken out." Chan exploded, his face red. "Oh, please, would you even have money to hire one right now?" Pat sighed. "No, but I've got enough to take everyone out for drinks. Come on." "Wait a moment," someone called out just as they were about to step into the elevator. "Mr. Rain, is something the matter? Do you have a minute? There's someone who'd like to meet your team. This is Fallat, a friend of mine and owner of the Eraside Hotel Group." Everyone was caught off guard and quickly greeted him with polite bows. "Hello, I really liked your presentation. So, I wanted to ask if you'd be interested in pitching for a new hotel project under the Eraside brand." Their surprise turned into stunned silence. "You'd like us to join your pitching, competing with other firms?" Pat asked, unsure if he'd understood correctly. "Yes, about 10 firms have agreed to join, including Mind Space. But the deadline might be a little tight for your team. I'm not sure if you'd be interested." "Of course, we are. Jinta Architect would be honored to take part," Akbab answered firmly without hesitation. She knew everyone felt the same way. This was their second chance, and they weren't going to let it slip away. "Perfect. Let's talk about the details soon." Pat quickly exchanged business cards with Fallat before he and Rain took their leave. But Rain turned back to offer the team one last bit of encouragement. "You didn't lose today. I really did love your work. I hope you can win over Fallat the same way you won over me. I'll be rooting for you." "PC, do you have a moment to talk?" Mind approached her business partner in his office. He had spent the entire afternoon avoiding her, off celebrating with the team. "What is it?" His cheerful mood quickly vanished as he caught the seriousness in her expression. The house plans you had me work on, they were from Jinta, weren't they? They were part of our team's materials. She knew that wasn't true. I know you can't stand that company. But did you really have to go this far? This is our win, and we got it because you perfected the work. And now we've secured Mr. Rain's side for more future projects. Isn't that something to be proud of? The way he brushed it all off without a hint of guilt, without even the pride of having done the work himself, left her speechless. She couldn't believe she had never seen this side of him before. Mind saw no point in wasting her breath. She let him walk out and end the conversation himself. "Grandma, are you okay?" "I'm fine," Akbab replied as she drove. Rin kept glancing over, clearly still worried. But she knew the girl could sense she wasn't really okay, so she added, "Thanks, Rin. There's just a lot on my mind. What Mind Space did, and now the hotel project with Mr. Fallet." The silence that followed hung for a while until Rin spoke again, trying to change the subject. "Well, since we've got time, want to go somewhere. Where did you have in mind?" "Your place, maybe," Rin teased. "Sure, but there's nothing to eat." "No problem, I'll order in. Whatever you want, I'll take care of it." In the end, they chose to order a cheese board to go with the port wine Akbab kept in her apartment. They snacked as they planned their next steps. "So, are you really okay with going up against Mind Space again?" "For Mr. Fallet's project. I mean, we'll have to face those people all over again." "Not really, but if I avoid it, what feelings P-Mind left behind will keep haunting me. I'll never move on, and neither will the company." Akbab let out a pained sigh and looked at Rin. "But I believe if I have you and everyone at Jinta will get through this. I haven't forgotten what I promised you, that I'd help you win. I still mean it. Believe in me." Akbab smiled, never once doubting Rin's determination. "I do." She reached out and gave the girl's cheek a gentle pinch, then let her hand slip down to hold Rin's loosely. "By the way, when did you secretly start working on that house design for Mr. Rain?" "The night you finished your work and passed out." "What's how?" "I stood there looking at your work for a while and it sparked something. I wanted to draw again. So while you were asleep, I took the chance to sketch, and every night I had some free time, I kept building it into a 3D model." "And you never said a word." "I just wanted to do it for fun, not planning to show it to anyone. I did it simply because I wanted to. Your work made me want to draw again." Rin beamed so wide it looked like her smile might split her face. She felt proud, touched, and deeply moved that her own work had sparked something in Akbab, the person she admired most. "I'm glad you found your way back to what you love. This time, I'll prove that Jinta can do it. We can win without cheating or dirty tricks. And even if we lose, we'll lose in a way that makes everyone question why we didn't win. That's why I love you." Rin said it truthfully from her heart. It stung a little to admit, but Mind was right about one thing. Akbab always knew exactly what she wanted and where she aimed to be. That clarity helped her think and decide without hesitation. "What about you? Do you have any feelings for me yet? If you do, please let me know. I don't want to keep guessing on my own." Akbab stayed quiet long enough that Rin started to panic, but then she answered with her words and her acts. She leaned in until their foreheads touched, the tips of their noses brushing together. "Of course, I do." The young woman set her wine glass down and gently cupped Rin's face. "I love you too, Rin." The voice at the end of the sentence faded away as their lips met, pressed close and sealed tightly, as close as two people could share sweetness and warmth from their bodies with each other.